Everyone, this is Zarina, your Upland newbie, and I'm going to go over how you can make money in Upland, what your prospects of making money are. Of course, no guarantees, but just the outlook, and give you some tips on how to start playing for free. Thanks to Upland Guide. Shout out to him. I've got some tips for you, and also I'm going to show you why you should maybe invest in buildings and why you should use my service. So we'll talk about that just a little later. But for now, I'm gonna get in my slideshow, so my face is gonna disappear. So see you in a bit. So starting off, most people don't know what they're gonna do. Hopefully some people have done their research, but there's a couple of different, well, maybe more than a couple of different ways that people might proceed. You might just go with flipping. You might be looking to grab some collection properties. Well, hopefully everyone's trying to grab collection properties. Or maybe you're just trying to grab a whole bunch of properties at once. You might be waiting and, buying properties and holding them out and waiting for the value to increase. Or maybe you're trying to flip really fast. Maybe you want to be a builder and get some neighborhoods going with your own look and style of buildings. Develop a node. So there's a couple, not, again, more than a couple ways that we can do things in Upland. So if you are starting off and you have just begun the game and you didn't use a referral code, then you'd have about 4,500 UPX. But Detroit is going to be opening, and it's going to be a cheaper place to buy. So I imagine you should be able to buy around 1,020. I've seen that in other cities. I'm hoping you see something that low or, around that range. So if that's the case, you can definitely, purchase a whole bunch of FSA properties in Detroit and start off with getting 4. And so here's some tips for you. So if you're going to get those 4 properties, get them on the same street. And that way you'll have 3 properties on the same street. Once you have acquired those properties, you can fill in some collections. So what you'll do is basically go ahead, grab 4 properties really quick. Grab them all down the same street, so you can do the 3 properties on the same street for the collections. You'll have one of those properties you can fill in and put in and get your 800 UPX for being a newbie. And you can also just reuse these and take them in and out of collections to get more UPX in the other collections that you fill in. So once you've got your newbie, you can go ahead and also use, you still have 3 other properties hopefully, so you can put them into King of the Street, and you'll get 6,250. Oh, sorry, that's not it. That's your assets. You'll get 950 UPX from that, which will bring your assets up. And then you can buy some more properties. So once you do, you can go ahead and enter 5 of your properties in the City Pro collection to receive a 1,200 UPX bonus, and that'll put you at around 7,450 UPX at that point. And this is, again, assuming you don't put any money in. And then you can remove properties from other collections, like I already said, and you can put them into own 3 properties in any city, and that'll get you another 650 UPX, and that brings you up to 8,100 if I've done my math properly. And you can check me because I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. So at any rate, what you'll see is that you haven't quite reached 10,000 UPX at that point if you're new, and you can't sell anything until you have reached at least 10,000 in assets in your worth. So I would advise you just to go ahead and spend some money, but this is where I want to go ahead and give you some other tips, which are on my left-hand side. So if you can, start up with a referral code because that'll give you extra bonus. That'll give you UPX bonus when you buy your first time. You'll get 50% of what you purchase. So please don't waste your first purchase by just getting like $4.99. Because that's, then you'll only get half of that purchase when you could have gotten a lot more. So I would advise buying at least, I would probably try to get the $50 one and go for that so that I could at least have that much and get, $25 on, or sorry, 25,000 UPX on top of it as a bonus. because that will get you a good start with being able to purchase properties. And we'll talk about that in my next slide, like why you want to be able to purchase a few at once. The other thing is you don't want to buy 100,000 UPICs, because then you'll jump right into being a pro and you will no longer be able to buy those FSA properties really cheap, which starting out, it's great to go ahead and take advantage of being able to buy those properties super cheap. So once you do get to the city there where you're starting in the new city, like Detroit, if Detroit being the new city coming up at this point, you have to get there. So you right now it's not, you can't travel there, but in a few days you should be able to. So there are some routes available. You can go onto the Discord channel and join Upland Guide's channel and use his travel bot, and the travel bot will tell you how to travel where you want. I also posted a video yesterday that has like a little snapshot of how to get to Detroit from the cities in Upland that you can go check out as well. But the idea is you have to be in Detroit, and to buy properties when you're in Detroit, you're going to have to be near those properties, and they are not going to like allow you just to send yourself to unminted properties. You'll have to send yourself to properties that have been purchased by other players. So you have to basically wait for the area to kind of light up or be near the area just fortuitously. But if you're not lucky enough to just be near your area, be looking for someone to just hurry up and buy a property over there, and you send to that property like right away, and you start minting all down the street. Okay, as a visitor, remember you cannot sell any properties, and you can't buy any properties either from other players. You can only mint. So there's really a downside to being a visitor. That's why I highly suggest going ahead and spending some money to get out of that status. But I don't want you to spend so much that you jump into pro, and I don't want you to spend so little that you waste your referral bonus if you got one. So those FSA properties, I do say mint all the way down the street so that you can get those collection bonuses when you're just starting off in a new city. You can start playing for free. But like I said, you can spend like $4.99 to reach the Uplander. With your like other bonuses, you should be to that 10,000 pretty soon. But if you don't want to do that, it's going to take you a while to get past that from that 8,100 probably. It'll take you a few more days and things to do before you get to 10,000, which at this point with Detroit opening pretty soon, you don't want to be lagging. Like you want to be able to flip and get those FSAs and just, have fun. So definitely, it says click here to get a referral code that gives extra UPICs. But I think you should look for your friends who are playing the game first. And then if not, come back and look for this code. I just saw this one on a site. I'm not even sure if it works. I just put that there. I put that there just in case. It might work for some people. So who knows, it might get you extra UPICs. All right, so this is a look of what it looks like if you put some money in. And I put in here 90,000 because you can go to 90,000, like purchase 90,000 worth of UPICs and still not be over your range to put you into pro quite yet. And then if you buy something as much as you can, and all these properties, then you just have them ready to go when you can sell. The problem is that you have to sell them only 2 at a time. So it's you're worth a lot of assets because you've got these houses that you've bought up all of the floor cheapest in the city, but you're selling them at two per week, and hopefully there's some good ones in there. This is just all like lowballing it right now. But the idea is, okay, then, go in there and buy some of these non-FSA properties. And that's the little greenhouses you see, because then you can start flipping things that are, easier to, or not easier to sell, but you can sell them faster. And once you hit pro, you'll have less time to wait before you can sell for cash. So that's I think if I were able to be an FSA player all over, I would just grab as many. I put 1,500 here because I'm like, who knows? But if they're just like Sorry, oh, that's not even 1,500. I was placing these, I think, at like 3,000. Oh, look at it. I think these are like, my value is like 3,000 on these because I think LA was really kind of expensive at first. So it's just kind of like a approximation, but the idea is like you can start buy all those FSA properties, and then like in 6 months, you probably see at least $8 return on each of them, maybe more, maybe less, but I think maybe more, especially if you mint in the proper areas. But the idea is still that you have that slow return because you have to do the two per week, 2 per week restriction, which is kind of like not great. So here's the other thing. And this is also pricing these at like 3,000, these little houses in this demonstration. But this is what I want to point out for people who are new to take advantage of. So when you are new and you go in, ignore this cell. It should have a plus 5,000 or more to show that you are at Uplander status, and that's how you're selling your properties. But assume that you go ahead and get in there and you're flipping. You got your FSA properties, but you decide I'm going to go ahead and put in $75 to pay to build. And I'm going to build on one of my properties. And that $75 is going to a player like myself who has Spark already, because you as a new player don't have that Spark yet. So you don't have the 1 Spark or the 0.1 Spark needed. So I do. So if you pay me or someone like myself $75 to build on your property that you got really cheap, you can go ahead and wait for that property to be done building. When it gets transferred back to you, it's no longer an FSA property because it's been purchased already, and now it's lost that restriction. So you get your building back and your property back. It's got a building ready to go, and you can now sell that within a month probably for some money. So you might be better off going into Upland and in this new city grabbing a bunch of properties and hopefully getting some in great areas where you think will be collection areas, and then building on those properties and selling them to other players, and not worrying about having the Spark. So keep that in mind. I also want you all to keep in mind my new node. It's a Vintage Street in LA. So this node is going to have some townhomes, some classic small cottage homes, but the idea is the vibe is going to be great. This is where you're going to be in the metaverse, chilling in vintage LA, the coolest spot there'll be. So come build your properties over here, check it out, and again, use my services if you want to build. Come check me out. You can find me on Discord with my same name in the game, which is Blue Rain, but it's the French blue, BLEU, bleu, and Rain, RAIN. And that's what I got for you. Oh, one more thing. I want to show you all how expensive Spark is. So new players probably don't get why it's a benefit to have someone who has Spark. But if you check it out, Spark just 0.05 costs you $30, and that's if you can get it, because they only sell it in 3,000 batches. And then for 0.1 Spark, it's $55. So if I charge you $75 for a building, that's like really like, you spend $55 for Spark, you don't have that, and then your other part's like $20. I mean, I think you're getting a pretty decent deal. So again, check me out in the game, Blue Rain, BLEURAIN. You can find me in Discord, and good luck. Oh wait, I keep remembering. There's one more thing. Detroit's opening, and it's opening in phases. So one other thing I wanted to show you is that you need to go ahead and Google Fox Creek and Greenfield. Yep, Greenfield, and see where they are on the map, so you know where to look. And I started to check it out myself. So that's Art Block. Hang on, that's that one. So Greenfield was how I found 8 Mile. So 8 Mile. And they're opening this area to mint, and 8 Mile is in the Greenfield area. The other place was that Foxfield. So here's how Greenfield looks. You see that's kind of like that red outline. And if you go in, You kind of zoom in, we can see those streets. So we got like Murray, Lindsay, Oakville, but I'm trying to see what, and as when we get to 8 Mile, it's no, there's like a circle drive over there. And a whole bunch of streets. So check those out. I'm like tilting my head to see. So that's where you want to go because that's where it's going to be opening. And let me see. Shoot. I guess I'll have to put the other one in for you. What was it? Fox something? Let's check it out. Fox Creek. All right. So Fox Creek. Fox Creek neighborhood. Yeah. All right. And here it is on the map. So just go to that. And you can see it. That outline, you want to zoom in so you can see what the streets are there. And that's where they're going to be opening. So find out what's in, Fox Creek that would be worth purchasing and minting. And that's what I suggest for you new players, just to kind of be aware. Those are the places that are going to open first. And you can see the distance that is from over here. So get yourself your bearings and everything like that. This opens first, and then later they'll open the rest of the city. So not all of the rest of the city will be available for you to try to travel to and mint, or wait. You'll be waiting for a while for people to buy properties over here until the whole city's open. Okay, now good luck, and everybody. I'll see you in Upland. I'm tired. Good night.